There we go. Okay. I was just watching some videos on here about Valencia County, New Mexico. A couple of years ago, maybe 10 or 15, maybe 20 years ago, I bought off of the internet, off of eBay, a quarter acre of land in Valencia County, New Mexico. Um, it's in Rio Del Oro uh, subdivision there, whatever. But I was looking online for on YouTube a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago, for some land in Texas that they were giving away because there were things on here about them giving away land in Nebraska and Kansas and Arkansas. And I bought this land here in Belen. It's in Belen, New Mexico. I bought it 10 or 20 years ago. But my idea was to take that little plastic thing, you buy these walk things online on eBay, and you put cement in them, and then when you pull them up, they're a little designed, and you put grout in between where the plastic was. And what I wanted to do was to concrete the whole lot, so I'd have somewhere to park, and I'd always know where it was. I was going to put a wall. They have on here garden walls. The garden walls, like in England. In England, their front yard is a garden walled patio, and they do that in Puerto Rico too, in other places. So you don't have to mow the grass. You don't have to worry about rodents or anything. You put a wall around the property, and then you put down the concrete in a pattern. And then, since where I own is nothing but desert, it costs $500 to have it surveyed, which around when I was in Florida, it was just over $100 to have something surveyed. But I figured, since this is in the middle of the desert, it's probably worth the money. But that's what I was just thinking. I wanted to say something about that, about putting a wall around the lot. I don't know in New Mexico if it would even matter, but here you have to do like 3 feet off the property line and put the wall up. But I have a motorhome now that I bought from Copart.com, and I don't know if there are any other problems other than the motor of the vehicle being torn apart and sitting in the back of the motorhome. But I wanted to get that. I have the motor out here to put an electric motor on the what the heck's the differential for the rear axle, and then I'll have a motorhome that I won't have to pay gasoline for. And I don't know if you've ever owned a motorhome, but they take like 60 gallons of gasoline each time, and you can go maybe 200 or 300 miles. I don't know, 400 miles. I don't know. But if I put that motor on there, I need a mount. I need to know how to mount it, and I need a bracket to hook the motor to the differential. But once I do that, then I can travel. The problem was, see, I had a van, and the van was great when I didn't have a whole bunch of junk to pile in it. Uh, but I bought all that junk, I piled it in there, and I says, well, I'll take care of this later. I bought a washing machine that I had made. It's a plastic washing machine, miniature washing machine, and I bought it and I put it in the van. I drove out to Las Vegas and I stayed in Las Vegas for about 2 weeks in the van. Uh, and on my way back, uh, the way there and the way back, I got into a couple problems with the police about where to park. And so I was thinking that's what I need is someplace to park. So I'll buy a lot here, I'll buy a lot there. I'll use tax sales and I'll buy a lot, and I'll put the concrete over it, because if it's a tax sale and if it's in a town, you won't have to worry about mowing the grass and keeping it with code if it's all concreted, right? With the garden wall around it, maybe a gate. I don't know if a gate would be absolutely necessary, but the motorhome is supposed to be fully self-sufficient, as you can take it to any campground and dump the waste tanks for $3 and just keep driving. But that's my idea, and I was going to do that in Texas and maybe even Mexico, and then I'd put together a little corporation and a website where you could go in and reserve the lot with the concrete on it, with the wall around it, for however long you wanted to reserve it, and then pay in stock, in a stock transfer to rent the property of, stock of anything that you own. It doesn't matter, just as long as the stock was there and it has an accurate description of what the stock is in, its condition, its age, and then all of that. It's just the value of that article, whatever it may be, and it assigns a value to the stock. And then what you would do is use the stock instead of the United States gold that is buried in Fort Knox for the equity value of the form of same as cash form of payment. You would be using everything that you own, and so instead of belonging to a subscription type of an agreement, or you're agreeing to be a member of this, what they call, what is it, a nation, a country, you'd be using your own stuff, and you would actually own that, or however the corporation documents were organized, and it would all work with people that were members of your group, and you'd have a roster with a website there to show you exactly what these people want you to know about them on their website, and so you could find out who these people are, their backgrounds. There might be a link to someone doing a background search or something. I don't know, maybe a private investigator. But that was my idea, and I was going to do that back around 2016. I set out to go out, and I got as far as the Ocala National Forest, and as soon as I got to the Ocala National Forest, I ran into all kinds of trouble because someone recognized me, somebody knew me, and wanted to use me for something, or I think it was the police department there in either Eustis or Lake County, Florida. But I drive through there and they pick up things. I don't know how they do it, but you just drive through the area and you're done, buddy. You got problems. So, but the whole trick to the whole problem is to keep moving. It's just to move on. Yeah, they might bother you for a day or two, maybe a week, but see, you pass through, and you don't hang around that culture, that society, and they'll forget you pretty quick because the way that things move in today's society, you get involved with what you know, right? The people you're around, you are around, and so that was my whole plan, was to buy a lot near each national forest or state forest that I would be going to, and then I'd stay there for as long as to finish the concrete and garden wall around that lot. Then I'd just move on to the next place, and then give me time to save up my money to buy another place, buy another lot. But that was my plan, and I saw this. I was doing that last video, and I came down. If you go to the last video and go down to the bottom, you'll see how I ran into this this situation here, and but I just wanted to say something about that, and I'm going to post this video, and we'll see what happens here.